Hello friends, this is Pradeep Yadav here again. Today I am going to discuss risk factor for severe disease and diagnosis. Basically, before this video I have already uploaded two videos regarding the COVID-19. One is basic of coronavirus. Second video was based on natural history of COVID-19. If you are interested, definitely you can watch those video. That is basically third video of that particular series. If you want to understand this topic, definitely firstly you have to watch those videos, then you can definitely understand what I am talking about this. So now let's start this video, and we are going to talk about risk factor for severe disease and diagnosing. Basically just I am going to tell some process about diagnosis also, whichever I am going to tell you, just I have taken from the Google. I am not saying that I have researched and something like this, but just I try to read more and more about this topic. Okay. So among people who get COVID-19, some are at much higher risk for having severe disease. So let's talk about what some of those risks are. Some people are much more likely to have severe disease if they get infected. In particular, older adults who are over the age of 65 are much more likely to have severe COVID-19 disease than others, and those risks are increased with the age. So the older you are, the more likely are to have severe disease. People who are extremely overweight also have an increased risk of severe disease. I want to point out that some people who are severely ill with COVID-19 are young and perfectly healthy. So I do not want you to get the impression that all people who have severe disease are older or have other chronic medical conditions. Sometimes young, perfectly healthy people can also become severely ill, but that is rare. It is a small proportion of infection, and children are very unlikely to be severely ill, but it does happen sometimes. Other existing medical conditions that increase the risk of severe disease in COVID-19 include diabetes, hypertension, and any kind of lung disease such as asthma. People who have heart disease, liver disease, any kind of kidney disease are also at increased risk for severe COVID-19 disease. People who have weakened immune system are also at increased risk, and some people have weakened immune system because they are taking certain medication like steroid or others that affect their immune system. If someone has HIV and they are on medication and their HIV infection is controlled, they are not at substantial increased risk for COVID-19 severe disease. Now let's talk about the death from COVID-19. So how does this disease kill? First, if the lung are not able to recover, if the virus damages the lung too much and the patient is unable to breathe on their own, then that is one way that someone can die from COVID-19. Another way is through lack of oxygen. So if the lungs are not functioning properly, then you can't get enough oxygen in your body, and that can damage many of your other organ system, and you need all of those to function in order to survive. So damage to those organs can put you at the increased risk for a heart attack or kidney failure, strokes, or other blood clotting disorder that can all causes death from COVID-19. Some people are at higher risk for death than others. It depends generally on your health before you get sick and also access to care. So if someone gets sick with COVID-19 but is unable to seek care early in the illness, then they are at higher risk for death. It is important for people who develop severe disease to be able to get the supportive care they needed quickly. Death from COVID-19 is rare among young and healthy people, but it can happen. Death among older adults who have COVID-19 is much more common, and it is increased with age. Now 2 to 5% of people aged 65 to 75 years will likely die from COVID-19 in the United States. That risk increases to 4 to 10% among those who aged between 75 to 85, and is over 10% in people aged more than 85 years old. This is why it is so important to help keep people in this higher age group safe from the infections. It is very important that we do everything we can try to limit transmission to people who are in these high risk age categories. Right now, we don't have any specific treatment to cure COVID-19. Although scientists are working very hard and quickly as possible to find treatments, the best treatment we have now is to support the body function until the body immune system can fight off the infection. Many patients with lung disease and several lung disease required mechanical ventilation. That's its breathing machine, you can say, because by using that ventilation machine we can breathe oxygen. We also call it ventilator, and it is help patients breathe while their body is fighting off their infections. People who need it will receive this kind of mechanical ventilation support to keep their lungs working so that their body can continue to get the oxygen it needs while it's working hard to fight the virus. Currently, these are the best treatment we have for people who have severe COVID-19 disease. Now moving forward, diagnosis of COVID-19. So how does someone know if they have COVID-19? Now we are going to talk about some laboratory tests that can be used to diagnose this disease. There are two kind of laboratory tests. You might hear about COVID-19. One is diagnostic test, and that test identifies virus that is in the body. It is called PCR test, which is stand for polymerase chain reaction. That is also called molecular test. That is the chemical reaction that is done in the lab to look for the virus. It is also called a molecular test, and it gives us a sign that the virus is reproducing in yourself. Another kind of test is an antibody test. This test can identify antibodies to the virus, usually in your blood. Antibodies are made by your immune system to fight off viruses or bacteria. We can identify antibodies that are specific to the virus in your blood. Some antibodies begin to develop when you are sick, but they are identified mostly after you recover. Remember that no tests are perfect. This means that sometimes despite our best efforts, the result from the test could be wrong. When we are looking for active infections, usually we do PCR tests on the people who have current signs and symptoms of the disease. The PCR test detects the RNA of the virus, which means the genetic material of the virus. So this tells us essentially if the virus in the body and replicating in the body. We usually take a swab from the nose, the throat or the mouth, somewhere in respiratory tract. Saliva can also be tested for the virus, but it is not commonly used. The reason we take sample from the respiratory tract is because that is where the virus likes to replicate in the body. If someone has a positive PCR test, that shows that there are particles of that virus in the sample that was taken. This means there is an active infection there. Sometimes there are false results, and that means that someone actually is infected with the virus, but their sample does not show that virus is there. So, not all people with the infection will have the viral RNA in their sample. This is important to keep in mind that just because someone has a negative PCR test, that doesn't necessarily mean that they definitely don't have the infection. However, if someone does have a positive PCR test, then we can be very confident that they do have COVID-19. Sometimes we want to know if someone has had the infection in the past, and antibody test is most common antibody test used for this purpose. Our bodies usually start to produce antibodies 10 to 14 days after we are infected. So, they will start to develop when we are sick, but we will be better able to identify them after we have recovered. So, these antibody tests can be performed after someone has already recovered from the infection, or in people who have never had sign and symptom but want to know if they have been infected. Remember that some people are infected but never have sign and symptoms. A positive antibody test means that you were infected with the virus in the past. But it doesn't tell us when you are infected. So, if you have antibodies in your blood, that could mean that you have some protection from future SARS coronavirus 2 infections. However, we don't know how long that protection will last, and we don't really know how good that protection is at. So, this is something that we are actively trying to learn more about. So, to summarize again, there are two types of tests: a diagnostic test and test to see if you had a past infection. The diagnostic test takes a sample from your respiratory tract. This figure shows a swab being collected here. In this picture you can see collected from the back of the throat going in through the nose. That will tell us whether or not there is a viral RNA detectable in your respiratory tract, suggesting that you have an active infections. By the time you recover, you will develop antibodies, and if you take a sample of your blood, we can detect those and we can determine if you were infected in the past. Neither of these tests are perfect, but they are very useful. Look for identifying people who had disease and who are currently infected. So, this is in this video. Please like, comment and share. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.